Good evening. Welcome to So Into Bourbon. I'm Glenn. This is Charlie. Charlie, tell the good folks at home what we're doing tonight.
Tonight we're very excited to have a wonderful and highly allocated offering from Buffalo Trace Distilling Company. It is none other than Rock Hill Farms Single Barrel.
And we hope to answer the question, is this $60 retail bottle worth $250 plus on the secondary market?
Let's find out.
Okay, Rock Hill Farms Single Barrel, right?
That's it.
Give me the deets, man. I don't know a whole lot about this. I know I used to see this bottle sitting on the shelf all the time. Almost bought it several times, never did.
Yeah, so this has become really a unicorn for a lot of people. The kind of mythical horsey bottle, the other horsey bottle from Buffalo Trace. It is mash bill number 2, which is the higher rye mash bill, 12 to 15% rye, allegedly. And it falls into the mash bill number 2, which is, besides Ancient Age, all single barrels. So you have Rock Hill Farms, Blanton's, and Elmer T. Lee, and Hancock's Reserve, and then the Ancient Age. So it's mash bill number 2, it's 100 proof, and it's Buffalo Trace single barrel juice.
Is this age stated?
It is not age stated. Why would it be age stated?
So we know it's at least 4 years old.
It's at least 4 years old. We know on the back of the bottle it says distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. So that's what we know. Unlike Blanton's, we don't know what warehouse it's from. We don't know what, the mash bill is specifically. We don't know how old it is, but this gets people real excited.
Yeah. It's a beautiful bottle.
It is.
Really pretty bottle.
It is. It's like the anti-Blanton's. Horsey on the front and squared instead of round. And it is slightly higher proof. Blanton's is 90 proof. This is 100. So
short and stubby,
yeah.
Like me.
So it's a $60 bottle. I paid $56.99 plus tax for this bottle at retail. And then I noticed that on secondary, this bottle fetches $250 pretty regularly.
Yeah, so that's the question that we're hoping to answer tonight is, hey, is it worth that? Or is it kind of like, to me anyway, Blanton's, where, it's okay. It's worth $50 to $60, but I'm not paying $100, $200 for it.
I am really excited for this one because I have had Rock Hill Farms before, but it's been probably 3 years since I had one because, again, these aren't super available. And I remember having it and thinking, man, that's a really good bottle of bourbon. Now, back then, it was probably a $50 bottle or a $40 bottle, and secondary was probably half of what it is now. But I'm excited to kind of get in this and hopefully give our viewers some guidance. Is this one you should be chasing, or is this one?
Let's do it. Let's not make them wait anymore.
Let's go.
And while we're checking this out, I want to remind you to please like and subscribe right here on the YouTube channel. And check out our socials. Whiskey Realtor on TikTok, So Into Bourbon on Instagram. It's got a nice color to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, one thing about short, squat, semi-round bottles is it always looks darker in the bottle.
Right.
It has kind of a really rich leather appearance in the bottle. It's almost like a honey color.
Yeah, it's a honey color. It's got a decent cling to the glass. It's kind of dripping down the sides.
It does have great kind of viscosity in the glass and really some great legs, really viscous. Nose?
It's nose. Man, it's got a really, really sweet nose to it.
Does.
Especially for a high rye mash bill. I'm getting a little green apple there. On
yeah, I was just getting ready to say I get like a caramel apple. A lot of that corn sweetness, though, is what I get. I don't get hardly any kind of spice or pepper or anything like that. It is also not overly complex.
No, it's pretty straightforward. I am getting a little bit of if you cook apples in a skillet, what am I
caramelized
thinking of? Caramelized apples, yeah. Let's taste it.
All right, let's do it.
Cheers.
Rock Hill.
Want me to go?
If you want. The rule for media is no dead air. But, you know,
Well,
we'll edit it out.
My first thoughts is the nose kind of follows through to the palate up front, and then once it rolls to the back of your tongue, you get that sweet, almost kind of green apple up front, and it gets to the back of your tongue, and it's all rye spice. That's all I've got so far.
I feel like the nose, I'll be critical. There's not a lot to the nose. It's not
pleasant.
It's fine, but there's not a lot to it. And then you drink it, and for me, big, bold flavor. There is a real kick of that kind of, and you kind of hit the nose on the head. That's not a saying. It's a big, bold, like little fruit sweetness transitions to a really nice peppery spice that kind of just coats, you know, all sides of your tongue. It really tingles your tongue. And that spiciness just sits almost like Pop Rocks, because it's not like a rye flavor, here it is and it's gone. It stays with you, and the rye stays with the oakiness, and I get a really strong tobacco note. Mm-hmm. It's a very bold, oaky 100 proof. Like, there's a lot of bourbon oak character in this little 100 proof bottle.
I agree 100%. There's a really nice oak character there, and you hit the nose right on the head with the Pop Rocks, to steal your little
It's not a saying, but it is now.
But as soon as I've never really thought of that, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, I can almost feel the Pop Rocks going off in the back of your mouth. But
and the nose is now that it's set for a little bit and swirled around, the nose is opening it up, and now that we have it kind of on our palate.
Yeah, like you said, it's not a super complex nose. I like it. It's a nice nose. I'm really kind of surprised by the oak character on it.
Yeah, and this is what's great about single barrels in general, is that in theory, if I buy this bottle of Rock Hill Farms and then a year later or at some point I get another one, it should be different unless by some chance it's the same barrel. I really like this, and I think this is, and in our last couple of episodes we have talked about this, and maybe it's a seasonality to it. You know, we're kind of coming into spring now, but all winter I've kind of craved that, you know, give me some double oak. I want, like, punch me in the mouth with big, bold bourbon flavor. This sucker is, it is very oaky with some tobacco and some spice. It is not overly sweet at all. Really nice pour. I really like it.
Yeah, and I feel like after sip 2 and 3 and after letting it sit on the palate for a few minutes, that initial spiciness is toned down just a bit, and it's starting to come through with a little bit more of the classic bourbon caramel flavors, a little bit of like burnt sugar. Yeah, overall,
so
super nice pour. Especially if you like oak, I think you'll really like this.
So, $250 secondary.
I wouldn't pay $250 for it.
No, I wouldn't either. That's, and let's just talk about it for a second. If you're buying, there are very few bottles that are worth $250, period, in our opinion. Now, have we paid that for bottles? Yeah.
Probably
once
more
or twice.
than we
more than
would
we
like
should
to
admit.
admit.
But we do it for you. We make content.
Exactly.
The only way you're paying $250 for this is if you just want it on your bar. If you just want it and have the income and you say, I'm never going to find one at retail.
You're in it for the chase.
I'm in it for it. I want it. I want to have it. Rock and roll. But if you're expecting it to drink like a $250 bottle, in terms of $60 bottles, one of the better $60.
I'd even maybe go 80 on it.
I mean, it's definitely worth the price. Sub $100, that's a hard-hitting, really nice offering. And compared to the Blantons that I've had,
100%.
far and away better.
Yes. I would pay. I'd pay 100 for this before I would pay 80 for Blanton's, or 75, or actually 60 for Blanton's. To be honest.
An unpopular take. I've been fortunate enough to drink and have a couple Elmer T. Lee's, and have, again, all single barrels. Never had one that I was like, man, that's great. This is better than any Elmer T. Lee that I've ever had, and that secondary's for about the same. I really like this. I think it's a great bottle. If you're able to pick one up at retail, get it.
Yeah.
But in terms of $250 and up, I'd save some money and maybe get something else.
Ready.
Oh, I will give this, I mean, that's a really good $60 bottle. It's a single barrel, it's 100 proof. It is a Buffalo Trace, which I don't know if that's a positive or negative. You know, I'll go a solid 7.125. 7.125.
You know, my initial thoughts were 6.8, but I think thinking about it, and for a $60 price point, I'm going to go 7.2. It's a little. I wish it had a little bit more depth to it.
I don't disagree.
If it did, it would climb up the chart there. But for what it is, it's a 7.2.
And this is what's great about single barrels, is that every experience should be a little different. You never know where these come from. It's a blessing and a curse, right? Like Buffalo Trace gives us just enough information to keep us clamoring for it, but not enough information that we kind of know what's going on. You know, even the mash bill is undisclosed. So I like it for what it is. I think one of the things as trying to become a more well-rounded bourbon drinker and fan is taking the mystique and the mystery out of things and drinking them and enjoying them for what they are. And what they are is what we know about them. And what we know about this is it's Buffalo Trace, it's mash bill number 2, and it's single barrel, and it's 100 proof.
Absolutely. All right, so I think we've kind of come to a conclusion here that $250, probably not. But if you can find it at retail, or even a little bit more than retail, pick it up.
Yeah, it's a solid bottle. It's
Not
a great
bad.
offering. You won't regret having it. You may have a little buyer's remorse buying at the top end of secondary. So
I believe so.
yeah, so
Charlie, why don't you tell them what to do?
you got to like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel to get more hard-hitting content like that. And you have to follow us on our socials, which Glenn will tell you about right now.
Whiskey Realtor on TikTok, So Into Bourbon on Instagram. And as always, don't forget, keep your wallets loose.
And your bungholes tight. Good night, everybody.
Peace out.
Rock out vibes. This is the hard-hitting questions bourbon drinkers want to know. What the hell?
Diddle it.
Yeah, you gotta you really do gotta diddle it.
You really gotta get your
You got it, yeah. Oh,
fingers
look,
going.
there it is.
Ah.
There it is. Look, I got it. There it is. But
You gotta make it pop.
not great.
Wah wah.
It's hard
Now
to
that's
pop.
a good one. Testing 1, 2.
Microphone check.
Do I look delicious?
Very uncomfortable this evening. A lot going on.
Well, you invited me over for dinner. What'd you expect?
That's true. Your wife is out of town.
I wore my best shirt.
You don't even have the microphone. Get out of here. Get out of here.
What's wrong?
This isn't Jodie Foster in the Accused. Get out of here. Oh,
What was that?
I don't know. It kind of did a
Like
thing.
$6 million man.